Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is Monday and I'm going to be starting off a weekly reading vlog. We're going to see how many pages I can read in an average work week. I feel like these types of videos are super relatable for the average person who works a 9-to-5 job, such as myself. I feel like my reading pace, I would say probably like a medium pace. It really depends how much I am into the book that I am reading. I also have this Friday off, so that gives me more time to sit down and read, obviously. But my normal schedule is I usually work 9-hour work days, so most of my reading I get done in the evening time, which you guys will probably see throughout the video. I have a couple of books I've been reading on my Kindle. I actually just finished one yesterday, so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to read next. And for some reason, I just really felt like I wanted to torture myself and read something that was going to make me really emotional / sad. I was going through my TBR on Goodreads and I came across this one that was actually available on the library app, so I got it. It's called June 1st by Jennifer Hartmann. It's supposed to be like a really deeply felt sad romance, and I only read 25 pages of it last night, and I will say I already teared up because something absolutely horribly heartbreaking happens in the beginning of this book. So I'm intrigued to see where it's going to go. I would definitely recommend checking the trigger warnings. It's something I actually need to do myself because I just kind of jumped into it without thinking about it. Another book I've been reading on and off on my Kindle is like a poetry self-helpy kind of book. It's called This Was Meant to Find You When You Needed It Most by Charlotte Freeman. I'm currently 66% of the way through that, so I'll probably get up to reading more of that this week as well. It's super easy to get through. The pages and the chapters are really short. And then I also downloaded a sample of another book one of my coworkers has actually been recommending me for months. It's a very long book, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna want to get into that. I was kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to read next. But this one is called The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. It's like a Penguins classic that was written in the 1800s, I believe, which is really cool. With all that being said, I feel like that was a lot of words. We're gonna see how much I get up to reading this week. Like I said, today is Monday. We'll keep track of the page numbers and I will be sure to keep you guys updated. One thing that I have been doing lately is actually rewatching one of my favorite shows, One Tree Hill. And because I don't pay for the ad-free version of Hulu, I will typically read a couple pages of my book while the ads are going, so that way I can kind of multitask a little bit. So that is what I'm going to do right now. Crying again. I know it looks like I didn't move at all, but I promise it is the next day and I'm about to sit down and read a little bit before I go to bed. Yesterday I read a total of 50 pages. Gotta write down my little notebook page here. I ended up reading 15 pages of the Monte Cristo book, 10 pages of June 1st, and then 25 pages of the This Was Meant to Find You When You Needed It Most book. I did read a little bit earlier in the day, but I didn't film any of that. This book is the sweetest thing ever. It is the saddest and the sweetest thing. The kids in this book, they're so cute. I love the main character. Welcome to Wednesday. It is about 8 p.m. right now and I'm not really in the mood to watch any TV or work on my paint by numbers painting, which is another little hobby I've had in my free time. So I'm gonna sit and read for a little bit, and yes, I do have a copy of this now because my coworker actually brought it in for me to borrow today, so that's really exciting. Recapping what I read yesterday on Tuesday, I read a total of 78 pages. I read 40 pages of the Monte Cristo book. Last night I ended up reading 33 pages of June 1st, and then I read 5 pages of the poetry book, This Was Meant to Find You When You Needed It Most. That is such a mouthful. For a total of 78 pages, which is actually more than what I read on Monday, surprisingly, even though I didn't really feel like I read that much yesterday, I guess. I also realized I haven't really explained what either of these books are about, so that's what I'm gonna do right now, except I'm not gonna explain what this book is about, just because I feel like if I say what the plot is about, it's gonna give away the entire book, and I know I like to go into books blind, so I don't want to ruin it for you guys, but I will say that this is a very heavy book. It's very emotional, it's very sad. If you want something that's going to really make you feel a lot of emotions and like rip your heart out, maybe consider picking this up. I am enjoying it so far, but like I said, it's very heavy. Moving on to The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. This is a classic literature book written in the 1800s. It centers around this main character named Dante. At the start of the book, he is pretty much like living his best life. Like, he gets offered his dream job, he's about to marry his dream girl, and then he ends up getting wrongfully imprisoned for 14 years. And the book kind of talks about his life in prison, and then he ends up escaping prison and then takes revenge on the people who put him in prison, I guess you could say. So it's definitely like a whole journey that he goes through. It says, the greatest tale of betrayal, adventure, and revenge ever written on the back of the book. It seems really interesting. It's also just been a good like palate cleanser to have, I guess, between reading something that has been so like emotionally heavy and then like going back to this. I think has been really good to have. I'm definitely interested to see how it's, you know, the story is going to progress and things. I don't really have a lot of feelings about it because I'm only 40 pages in right now, so I have a lot of it to go, but I'm definitely going to be taking my time with this one. Tonight my main focus is to read this book. Right now I am currently on chapter 8, page 68 out of 471, so this is definitely going to be a minute until I finish this one as well, but this is my main focus, and I will definitely keep you guys updated on my thoughts and things. I'm scared. You guys know the drill. Today is Thursday, so I thought I would recap what I read last night on Wednesday. Wednesday is actually my highest page count that I've had so far this week. I read a grand total of 86 pages. I read 15 pages of This Was Meant to Find You When You Needed It Most, 63 pages of June 1st, and then 8 pages of the paperback version of The Count of Monte Cristo. I realized I was looking back and watching the clips that I took on my camera. I said that I read 40 pages of Monte Cristo on Tuesday, but I'm only on page 40 in the paperback, so I'm not quite sure what the difference between the Kindle sample and the actual paperback version is. I know obviously the text is smaller in the book than it is going to be in my Kindle, so I'm not really sure if Tuesday is accurate, and I apologize for that. I'm not really sure what went wrong. I know I went back and counted the pages, so I did the best that I could. However, Monday so far we're at 50 pages. Tuesday I read 78, and then last night on Wednesday I read 86. So we'll see if I can beat that number today. I apologize. This is not a good angle whatsoever, but welcome to Friday. I can't believe it's already Friday. I feel like this week flew by. Today is my off Friday, so what I usually like to do is go for a run once a week. Last night I actually didn't read anything at all. I know I took that clip and I was like, oh, maybe I'll like surpass 80 pages, whatever. I literally read, I think, 13 pages of the Monte Cristo book, and that was it. I didn't film anything. I'm hoping maybe after my run, there's like a really pretty park area in this place that I like to go running at, that I'll do my Bible study, and then maybe I brought my Kindle, so I'll do a little bit of reading. I am home now. I showered, I had lunch, and I don't have anything to do, so I figured I would just sit here and read for a little bit. I'm sorry if you guys can hear that noise. There's someone building a house like over there, and they are blasting music. Love that for me. I knew something sad was gonna happen when I put my camera down. I don't think I've ever stopped reading a book before. It's actually a few days later since I filmed that last clip. I ended up going to a friend's house and just stopped filming, never filmed an outro for this. I thought it would be a great time to sum up everything that I read this week. I'm just gonna total it as I go throughout my list. Monday I read 50 pages. Tuesday I read 78 pages. Wednesday I read 86. Thursday I read 13. And then Friday I read 119 pages for a grand total of 346 pages. I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like that's the average size of like an average book, which is pretty impressive considering that I only read before I go to bed. As for the books that I read in this video, primarily I read June 1st by Jennifer Hartmann. Like I said, this is a very emotional romance. Definitely recommend checking the trigger warnings before jumping into this because it has like ripped my heart out. I have never cried so much reading a book. There are very heavy topics in it, and I do really like the characters. I like how the story is developed. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of the specific tropes, but I'm really curious to see how she's gonna wrap up the story. I think right now I'm about 60% of the way through. And then I started reading The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandra Dumas. This one is gonna take me a while to get through just because of the size of it, but right now I'm about 53 pages into it. I don't really have too much of an opinion yet because not a lot has happened so far, but I am excited to continue and kind of see where the story goes. And then the last book that I read on and off throughout this video was that poetry book, This Was Meant to Find You When You Needed It Most by Charlotte Freeman, and I have actually finished it since Friday. And I don't really rate nonfiction books, so I didn't give it a rating on my Goodreads. If I were to give it a rating, it would probably be close to a 5-star just because of how relatable the poems in this book are and just like how they really make you feel seen when you're going through a hard time, just kind of like let you know like the emotions that you are feeling, or if you're going through something, maybe you're comparing your life to someone else's. It just makes you feel seen and valid. The writing was really good, and I bookmarked so many pages in this book and had so many highlights. If you guys want to kind of keep up with the rest of these books, I would definitely recommend following me on Goodreads, where you can see all of my reading updates in real time. I'll have that linked in the description box below. But I hope that you guys enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, be sure to give it a big old thumbs up and subscribe below if you're new here. Thank you so much for watching. If you have made it this far, I hope that you have a great day wherever you are, and I will catch you guys in my next video. Bye guys!